Hello, students and teachers. My name is Jasminne Mendez, and I am a teacher and writer with Writers in the Schools. Welcome, and thank you all for joining us. I live here in Houston, Texas. I am a published writer, a spoken word poet, a playwright, a mom to a beautiful little girl, and I'm a lover of cupcakes, and I totally really miss the ocean and going to the beach right now. But I'm here today to share with you all a story and some poetry and a couple of writing prompts. So I hope you guys are excited to join me and excited and ready to do a little bit of writing today. So let's just start with a little background on our author and on the book. So I'll be sharing with you all today, What Color is Your Day? By my dear good friend, talented poet and writer, Cameron Wells. Cameron Wells is also a local Houston author. She's a mother of two, and she's also a spoken word poet and writer, and she wants you to know that her favorite color is yellow. And we're going to be talking a lot about colors today, so keep your favorite colors in mind. Her book that we'll be reading today, What Color is Your Day, that I have right here in front of me, is a picture book, but it's written like a poem. So it's got poetic form, which includes some rhyming words. We've got similes and personification and imagery. Don't worry if you don't know those words. I'll be talking about those a little bit later. And her book focuses on our emotions using the idea of colors. So how can we describe our emotions through colors? And I'm sure that you've all have been going through a wide range of emotions and feelings over the last few weeks as we've been at home, working from home and learning from home and being at home almost all day long. And so I think that this is a great book for you to use as you consider how to describe your feelings. And maybe sometimes you're not sure what the right words are to describe your feelings. And so this book is a great way to think of another way, a different, more interesting, creative way to describe our feelings. So, are you ready? What color is your day? What Color is Your Day? By Cameron Wells. Illustrated by Eleanor Loosby. What color is your day? What color is your day, my love? Is it blue? Is it green or gray? Explore the shades and hues you feel when you laugh or cry or play. Are you blue like a wilted flower that's waiting for the sun? Or does blue just make you calmly reflect on everything you've done? Pink fills your heart with kindness and tickles you with joy. You might feel pink when you're silly or playing with your toys. Which brings us on to purple, a friendly hue of blue. Original and individual are purple's traits of you. Orange and yellow are best of buds. They play so well together. They're creative social butterflies, like a play date in sunny weather. Green can feel like envy when you want what isn't yours. But green can also feel quite fresh when your happiness is restored. Red is a youthful color. It's exciting and bold too. It is powerful and loving, a true reflection of you. And don't forget the color brown when you're feeling safe and sound. It is beautiful and earthy, like tree roots in the ground. sometimes feelings can be complex. They're not always black or white. You might feel more like a moody gray, and that's perfectly all right. So what color is your day, my love? Or maybe you feel more than one. Ask yourself at the start of each day and again when the day is done. Are you feeling green or maybe orange, black or red or blue, or maybe yellow and some pink and a splash of purple too? The colors that describe your day can change with how you feel. Happy, embarrassed, confused, or mad, these emotions are all quite real. But more importantly, they are yours. So feel as long as you may, for a moment in time, or a few hours more, or one color for the day. And when you're ready, the choice is yours to feel a new color or hue. Whatever you choose, whatever you feel, is beautiful because it is you. And that is our book, What Color is Your Day, by author Cameron Wells. Now let's take some time to think about how we can use this book to write our own original creative work. So, what were some of the things that you noticed in the book? Well, I noticed figurative language, and by that I mean elements like personification and simile. So the author, Cameron, is able to use language that creates a picture and that compares two things to something else, or that brings and personifies an idea on the page. She also uses color words and color imagery. So she uses colors to create a picture in our minds. And she uses emotion words and adjectives, lots of descriptive words and details in this book. So let's take some time to look at each one of these elements a little bit more closely. So personification is when you give human qualities to non-human things. So before I show Cameron's example, one of my favorite examples is to talk about how sometimes we can see trees and their leaves moving, and you might say the trees' leaves danced in the wind. Now, are the leaves really dancing? No, but we're describing their movement as if it were a person dancing. It's as if it were dancing. So one of the examples in Cameron's book is, pink fills your heart with kindness and tickles you with joy. Can pink really tickle you? No, but that's kind of what it maybe feels like. That's kind of what the color feels like, she says, right? So she's personifying. She's turning pink into like a human person that can do something to you. It can tickle you, right? And fill your heart with kindness, right? So she's personifying the color pink. And she does that throughout with a few of the colors. All right. She also uses a lot of similes. Now, you may have heard your teachers talk about this. And a simile is when you compare two things using like or as. So the two examples I have here that I found are you blue like a wilted flower? So she's comparing the color and the emotion of feeling blue or down or sad to a wilted flower. She also says, brown is beautiful and earthy, like tree roots in the ground. She's comparing the feeling of brown or feeling safe and sound like the color brown to tree roots in the ground, how they keep you grounded, how they keep you steady and firm and strong and safe, right? So she's comparing that feeling of safety and how brown can feel safe, right? Like tree roots in the ground. She also uses color imagery, so using color words to help create a picture in the mind of the reader or the listener. And so one of my favorite examples of this are when she says, orange and yellow are best of buds. They play so well together. So you think of like the color orange and yellow, right? But then she compares them to butterflies. They're creative social butterflies, like a play date in sunny weather. And again, you have another simile, but she's using the colors, right, to create these pictures in our minds of these emotions and these feelings that we might have. And then finally, the whole book is all about feelings and emotions and describing those feelings and emotions. And so, of course, we've got lots of fun new vocabulary that I'd love for you to try using in your own writing today. Instead of just saying, I feel happy, I feel sad, I feel mad. The author, Cameron, is able to expose us to new words to enliven our own writing. So words like silly, fresh, safe, joy, envy, moody, friendly, bold, confused, creative, excited, embarrassed. I'm sure you could think of so many more words, right? So that's one of my challenges for you today when you write, is don't just say, I feel happy, I feel sad. I want you to really challenge yourself to think of the different kinds of emotive words that you could use in your own writing to make your writing fresh and creative and new. Yeah? All right. So before we get to writing and putting paper onto pencil in our long form writing, I want us to do a little bit of brainstorming together, okay? So first of all, take a moment to check in with yourself and think, what are you feeling? What am I feeling? Or what have I been feeling over the last few weeks, maybe stuck at home, right? And consider all of the feelings. So you might want to make a list. So before you ever write anything else down and start writing your creative piece, first maybe brainstorm a list of all the things you felt. Maybe you felt bored or anxious or joyful or scared or confused, or you feel really loved by your parents who are trying to protect you and keep you safe and healthy. Maybe you felt excited or hopeful, nervous, whatever it is, right? Just make a list. Maybe make a list of like 8 or 10 feeling words that you felt, okay? Now, once you've done that, your step 2 is to look at that list and then maybe add a color or two that you think of when you think of that feeling. All right. Now, these are just my examples. You don't have to write as many color words as I did, but I was just kind of brainstorming. So maybe boredom is brown because it's kind of like a muddy color and you look at mud and it's brown and you're like, oh, that's how boredom is, right? Or maybe anxious, right? If you get, like if bright colors like make you nervous or anxious, then maybe it's a bright red or it's a bright green or it's a bright yellow. Joyful, we usually think of like really light colors. So maybe it's a pink or a purple. Scared might be black if you're afraid of the dark. So it might be blackness, right? Because you're thinking that you're afraid and you're afraid of the nighttime. Or it might be red if you're thinking of fire or blood or something like that. So you might be scared. Confused, it could be almost anything, white or brown. Like if you're confused, your mind is just a blank, so maybe it's white. Loved, if you think about Valentine's Day, maybe it's red or pink. Excited, red, yellow, orange. You're thinking of like all the fun rainbow colors. Hopeful, I wanted to add some kind of different colors instead of just sort of the normal rainbow colors. And so I added aqua, gold, and silver, right? So what kind of, maybe if you're feeling lucky, you might think of gold, or if you're feeling, sort of special, you might think of silver. So kind of challenge yourself to think of the different kinds of colors that those feelings might evoke or might make you think about, all right? Once you have both of those lists, both your feeling words and your color words to go with those feeling words, then your step 3 is to write about it. And that's our prompt for today. So your goal is to choose one of the 3 prompts that you see here down below. You can either, 1, write a poem about all your recent feelings and what color they are. So for example, I might say, lately I felt brown and I felt bored like the brown mud. Or sometimes when I feel bored, I think I feel gray, right? Or you might say, lately I have felt anxious like a red tomato ready to be squished, right? Or you might want to use personification and say, when I'm at home and I have nothing to do, laziness comes and wraps me up green like a blanket. I'm just making it up here as I go, right? So, but you'll have more time to sit and actually write. The other option is to write a story about a time you felt a strong feeling. Describe the feeling using color words, imagery, similes, and personification. So you might think of a time before all of this happened when you got really excited and happy about something, or maybe a time like during now when you felt really nervous or scared, or you got really angry. Maybe you're angry now because you can't see your friends, or you're sad and you're really, really sad about it. And so what color is that? Or what colors do you think of when you feel this sadness or this anger or this fear or this excitement, right? And then lastly, you can simply start your writing by answering the question, what color is your day? And you can say, today my color is gold. And then just write about why you feel gold and what makes you feel gold and why you think of gold when you're feeling what you're feeling today. And just keep writing and see what happens. All right, so those are your 3 options. I hope that this has provided you some inspiration and excitement for your writing activity. It's a good way, I think, for us to keep in touch with our feelings and be able to express our emotions in a creative and useful way that maybe we hadn't thought of before. So ready, set, and go write. I hope you enjoyed this writing exercise. Please check out more quick wits on our social media, on Facebook at Writers in the Schools, on Twitter at @WitsHouston, and on our website at witshouston.org. And last but not least, I'd like to give a special shout out and thank you to Cameron Wells and Mindful Ink Media for granting permission to share the book, What Color is Your Day, from the Color Feel Play series here on our Quick Wits. Thank you and have a great day. Take care, y'all.